Top of the mountain to all of you. I am Colby with backpackinggrub.com, and in today's video we are talking about sleeping pads. I'm going to help you with things I've learned along the way through my experiences on how to set up your mat and also how to put it away. Now the first thing that I like to do is set up my tent like you see, and I do not put my fly on. Why do I do that? Because it makes it a lot easier when I get the pad pumped up to just slip it in. When the fly's on and stuff, it just makes it a little bit harder to get in. So I just do this before I put my fly on. And I do keep my pad in its stuff sack. Why? Because it adds a little extra protection when it's in my bag. I do not want this to get rubbed or puncture a hole at some point. And I hike a lot in the desert. And so it just adds one more layer of protection for me. It's worth the grams. Now, when we pump up our sleeping pad, we want to do it on top of the tent. It makes it a lot easier. There's no reason to bend over and break our back when setting up our pad. And so I just roll it right over the top like that and open it up all the way. If I'm by myself, I just bring the pump sack because it's very light. These are easy to use. It fills your pad up pretty quickly. But I do have a flex tail pump. When I bring my kids and family, it makes it much easier to pump all these up. If you are using a pump sack, just know that these create a vortex. You have to stand back a little bit when you blow into it. Don't put your mouth right on it and blow in, or it takes a lot of breaths. If you stand back, it sucks air into it, and it usually takes about one breath to get it full. And trap that air and just roll it down. All right, we're all pumped up. That took about 4 sacks to get this blown up. Probably even faster than a flex tail pump. Honestly, it's very fast. Tricky part is pulling that pump sack back off. You don't want to pull the plug out. So you hold the plug down and pop the sack out. Like that. Plug up the hole and we are good to go. And so, like I was saying, it's very easy once you have it to just slide it in, especially when that fly is not on. Just get it in there. There you go. So now you have your tent set up, your pad inflated, and I always recommend to inflate it all the way, because what'll happen is as the night goes on, you'll go hang out at a campfire and you'll come back to get into bed and your air mattress will look like it's got a hole in it, because as the air gets cooler, the air will condense within your pad, leaving it looking kind of floppy, when in fact, all that happened was the air condensed and it shrunk down. All you got to do is put a few puffs in there to get it back to where you want it. And just remember, the next day, if you're not packing up in the morning, you may want to let a little air out, because as the air warms up in the morning, that air will expand in your pad and it may cause some weak spots on some of the laminate seals. So just remember, the temperature of the air can affect how inflated or deflated your pad will be. You may wake up even in the middle of the night and you feel like you've lost some air, and that's because it just got colder. When you're ready to get out of your tent, you'll want to just pull the plug on your air mattress while you're laying on it and let it start to deflate. That'll help speed up the process of deflating the mattress. And once you've got your sleeping bag packed up, next step is to roll up your sleeping pad. So the first thing I like to do is, while it's open like this, you got to get all the air out, or most of the air out. And so you'd give it one good roll while it's open like this. And you can see how it looked like there wasn't very much air in there, but as I roll, there was quite a bit of air still in there. And so this will help when you go to fold it twice. It'll roll much easier if you get most of the air out. So then we bring it back now, unroll it. All right, and then I usually sit on the side like this and I will fold it once, like that. And then I usually fold the top part where the plug is. That last fold. So now we got 2 folds. We got to make sure it's not going to be too wide so it'll fit within the sack. So we've got it folded. Once I got it folded, I usually give it a nice push in the ass air out. And then this is a trick because you got to do this tight in the tent. If you can go like that, give it a fold up towards the plug and then start rolling. And as it rolls, it will want to pull. You have to keep pulling it over. So I'm pulling it back over, and then you can kind of push these ends to make sure that it's not pulling to one side completely, and just keep pulling it and rolling it. Push it back in. If you try to do this roll when there's still some air, the air gets caught in these little baffles and things, and it's much harder to do, and it's much sloppier. That's why it's important to get the air out first. That way when you're doing this, you can see there's a little air still in there, but it's not bad at all, and it's just rolling really easily. And you just keep rolling it. Keep going. And with any luck, you rolled it so it wasn't too big, and it goes back in the bag, just like that. And there you go. That's how you roll the sleeping pad. And if you have a really small tent, you can also sit outside your tent and do this from the side right here. Same thing. We're just going to flop it out like that and give it a fold. And then just start rolling from right here instead of like sitting in the tent if it's a little tight inside your tent. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you've learned a few new tricks. I hope I've helped you out on how to roll, how to set up your pad. If you have any other tips or tricks you want to share with me, I'm open for new ways. Leave a comment if you have any other tricks. And make sure you like and subscribe this video if you found it helpful, and hopefully we'll see you out on the trail.